Welcome to Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast, your weekly dose of many discussions and opinions, a show where we get comfortable being uncomfortable. And remember, no topic is off limits. Now let's talk about it. And we can get started.
Hello, hello.
I'd be swearing I could sing. I can't, but
Oh no, me too.
my listeners
I'm an artist.
are gonna take these vocals the way it is, and that's it.
No.
They can't make it to the shower with
They're
me.
gonna
so.
get what they're gonna get.
Yeah, that's that. Just picture the shower sound in the background. But this is what I sound like. This is exactly how it is. All right, so we are back. Welcome back, guys, to another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Ms. D, and today we have a guest, and I'm excited. You hear me? My vocals are there today.
You are so excited.
I am. It's because my energy was so off in like these last 2 days. I don't know what the hell happened. It's a lot. So I saw somewhere that there's like a full moon.
It's probably what is the Mercury's in reggaeton?
Reggaeton at this point, yeah, because I could still like back it up, right? But like my energy's there.
Yeah, I can still drop it like it's hot.
I can still do that.
But I'll start crying right after.
Right. And I'll be like, I don't know what just happened. It's exactly what I needed.
Yeah. I love it here. Oh.
It's giving. Yeah, it's giving. I'm a hot mess. It's what it is. But that's what it's been like for these last 2 days. And so this feels great. This feels great. Today, so in honor of, because everything is alignment, right? And so
I know,
we were
I was thinking that before you were
right?
about to say what you're about to say.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to say. See what I mean, guys? See what I mean? Okay, so we were supposed to record this already, like, once or twice? We were already trying to record. We rescheduled.
3 times.
3 times, right? And so if anybody knows me, you guys know already, I like things to happen at the accommodation of my guests. Why do I say that? Because I'm a working mother. I have a full career. So I know what it is to sometimes shit happens and life just happens, right? So I like to accommodate my guests, right? And the truth is, I do feel like I have still a lot of flexibility. I do feel that way. When I'm asking someone who is leading staff, leading businesses, leading all of that, I am not doing that as a sole focus. So I know what my 9 to 5 is, and I know what my other time is available. The other person, they could get called in at any given moment for anything. You know what I mean? So
that's me.
I know. So I like to accommodate. Someday maybe the roles will reverse, and I hope and pray that someone can give me that grace too. But I understand that piece when it comes to my responsibility to my show and my platform, right? But life has been happening, and so my energy has also been off, right? And one thing we want to give here to the listenership of Double Dose of Raw Talk is some dope-ass conversation. We always want that.
Yes, a vibe.
Yes, and here we are today. It is International Women's Day today. So that's right. And it's alignment to me. It's like, look at the day that we are available. We can come together. We can have conversation here, because if you guys already know, we're going to keep it all the way raw here.
Oh, man.
We are. I know it.
I don't know how else to be.
Ooh. That's right. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to have you here. So in the past, Daisy has always given, like, in true Miss D fashion, a whole spew of an intro. But I feel that if I'm creating a platform to give others a voice and a microphone, I like the person, my guest, to come on here and give themselves their intro by name, service, business. Service doesn't sound very appropriate. Let me backtrack that. Your business and the services that are offered through your business and your platform.
I mean, it is a service.
I mean, it's giving. I was flirting with someone earlier, and I was totally talking about services here. So I should not have said this at this moment. But please, to my dear guest, would you please introduce yourself to my listeners?
So the name is Yosi Maldonado. I am I am a newly announced business coach with a business degree background. I am a wedding and event planner. It will be 13 years, March 28th, actually in 20 days. And I am a mother of 2. My daughter is 20 and my son is 14. I am 39 years young. I come from Dominican family, heritage, born and raised, not raised in New York, but like a lot of my history is in New York, but I've been in Jersey for years. My services, what I do, what I provide for this world are lately have been helping women really walk in their power. I've noticed that lately I've just been helping them feel better about themselves. I guess it's more of the regaining their confidence because I feel like I suffered with that and I went through that recently. So I feel like that's the alignment that's coming towards me without me even asking for it. And we talked about this like 2 weeks ago and it already changed how things shift. So I've noticed like lately a lot of people approaching me like, oh my God, I love what you're doing for yourself and I want to do that. So that's where I'm at now, coaching women in business. I didn't mean to just coach women. I do have some men that I coach, but primarily it's women. And I'm a full on powerhouse. I do a lot of things. I own 3 businesses now, and I don't know what else I'm going to be doing. Oh, and the podcast. I launched my podcast in December. So, yeah, it's a lot going on. That's why I had to reschedule 3 times. But we're here now.
We are absolutely here today. Do you want to share with us the name of your podcast? So let's just put it out there because it's going to go in the show notes anyway.
The name of the podcast is the Fierce Femmeprenuer. So it is all motivational, not a basic empowerment podcast because there's so many of that. And I feel like sometimes you're not really empowered. But my focus is to help you stay fierce, focused, and fucking fabulous in all your endeavors in life and business. So the name is we're fierce and we're fempreneurs. I'm going to have guest speakers, male and female, because in the industry that I come from, I work with a lot of men and I do work with primarily women, but I don't want to disassociate males in this entrepreneur world because let's be honest, we both kick ass in what we do, so why not?
Absolutely. I'm here for that. I love that you said that too, because I do feel, in the spirit of International Women's Day, I'm all for it. First of all, we celebrate women every day. But
We
also
do.
I don't ever want it to attach that stigma that it's us versus them for the rest of our
No,
lives.
I actually hate that, to be honest.
Mm.
And I feel like it's a little fucked up because Mother's Day is one of the biggest holidays in the world, and Father's Day is one of the least holidays, like the lowest holidays in the world. And I just talked about that with my friend, and he was like, fuck that, you guys get everything, and now we have today. And I'm like, you know what? It's true. Like, why is there so much for us women and not for men? There are some really good men out there, fathers, men, business owners that kick ass on a daily basis, and they deserve flowers too. Like, it's not just, we do a lot as moms in general, but there are some fathers that play both roles.
Mm-hmm.
You just said that to me
I
a few
did.
minutes ago.
It's actually not a
So,
secret on this platform.
no. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
I've
like,
no, I've shared the
there's a
story.
lot of men that
Yeah.
kick, like, I don't know. I surround myself with powerful people, men and women. So for me, I like to share my platform to both. And it's just, I resonate with like both. So for me, it's like, I don't have to be a female that only works with females. Like, if that's what I attract, great. But I can coach men, I can work with men because I've done it for years. And I resonate a lot with my masculine side. Been like that for years. But I also have that feminine energy that's finally flourishing now as I got older. But my whole life, I lived through my masculine side. My
Mm-hmm.
friends used to be like, "You're such a dude." Always, "You're such a dude. You're a guy. You act like a guy. You think like a guy." And I'm like, you know what? That blesses me sometimes.
Yes.
Because sometimes I don't get played out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't get like go to get my tires checked, and they be trying to play me. I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm not paying for that.
Right. Right.
I'm not stupid. Like, but that's the thing. We got that stereotype. Women can go get your car fixed. Oh, ella no sabe nada.
Right.
I'm gonna hit her over the head. No,
that's not how
fam.
it works. No.
I've driven hoopties my whole life. You ain't playing with me.
See, and
So,
I'm not a driver, but one thing my dad had as a conversation with me from the beginning was, no dejes que te vean la cara. He told me that from the beginning.
They're gonna right away think you're an idiot. You don't know shit about cars. Yeah. And I'll be like, hold up. If I don't know my brother does, or my boy does, or somebody does, I'm gonna find out before you price this.
That part. Yep.
You're not about to take me for granted.
That part. For the record, I am going to get better at my practicing with driving, because I do have my license, but I don't still feel like
it's hard in New York, though.
we're mastering.
It's like really hard.
Yeah, it is. But we're gonna get there. My personal trainer tells me all the time, when you're ready, you let me know, because I'm going with you. I'm like, all right, I got you.
Just go to an empty parking lot.
Yeah.
It's the best time.
No. He's like, no, you're not gonna, nobody's gonna like look at you and think they could get away with shit, because they will try, because you're a woman, It's so funny because, and in true fashion of Double Dose of Raw Talk, everything just segues right in. This is actually what I wanted to highlight with the raw mess of the week, because I always like to leave it to like the day of or the day before to see what's in breaking news, what's in the out, like what are we talking about, right?
So I want to know where you're going.
Oh, well, we're going to go there. So you see how we just flowed right into the whole men versus women, or like, we don't like that shit, right? Well, because, sometimes here we get a little spicy. So I want to be able to discuss about a show that's on Netflix, and it returned for season 2.
Sex life?
It's a sex life. But let me tell you why.
Okay.
No, well, let me tell you why. Okay, because while, yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's plenty of sex in there, there is a concept that I want to be able for us to talk about here. Okay.
I'm all for it, because that show was my shit.
It's my shit too. Like, the moment it came out, I was like, I don't care if I have to go to sleep to go to work the next day. I am binging this whole shit all fucking night.
I'm watching this shit at work.
I'm watching it. So here's the thing. It's totally spoiler alert, but whatever. I hope you go watch it. Don't worry, I didn't kill the vibe. You still want to see it. You want to see all of it.
Yeah.
Okay. But there is a concept here that I thought was very interesting. Very, very interesting. For years, we have seen in many different cultures, in telenovelas, in soap operas too, because, if they do it in Spanish, they do it in English, movies, all of this, right? It's always the husband cheating or the husband stepping out, right?
We're talking about this with me.
Josie, I'm sorry.
God, forgive me for the things I'm about to say.
Well, it's alignment. It's alignment. That's what it is.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I don't know what you're about to ask, but go, because
well, this is the
I
thing,
have some shit to say.
No, well, this is the thing. I just thought, for one, to put it from the light of the woman stepping out emotionally, mentally, because that's really what it was. That's essentially what it was from the beginning. This was someone from her past, someone she hasn't forgotten. She's already married, and he has resurfaced. The thought of him has resurfaced, right? All these past memories resurfaced. Who she was in the past resurfaced, right? And so there's a whole theatrics and dramatics in season 1, but in season 2, I loved how they opened up with her. There's an interaction between her and the guy who she's been fantasizing about, who's her ex. But when he tells her, go back to your husband and talk to him, right? Brad, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I never thought. So the thing with this is, when she said to her husband, when she went to go talk to him, she tells him that the problem is beyond Brad. It's between them two. And for a split second, I feel like I've seen something that I've never seen before. I saw a vulnerable husband and a woman deciding to walk away and walk out. And that's not something we usually see. I didn't grow up in that scene. I've grown up hearing stories of men leaving, right? Of men leaving the family. She actually is the one who goes and moves out. It's the kids who stay in the house, and it's the dad who's mostly staying in the house, right? With a nanny. Like, there's so much that I feel like the roles reversed. And
I think they did that on purpose, because it needed to be brought to light.
Yes.
Because I feel like this is not new.
No.
There's no way that's, oh my God, que maldito loquera. No. These are things that happen that are just not brought into daylight, and because they don't want women to look bad. Unfortunately, we're on this high pedestal, but there's a lot of us that are fucking hoes. Literally. In general. Even if they're in a happy home, they like to, be promiscuous, be out. Now, when you're in a situation like that, where you literally just don't feel seen anymore, that's really what it is. You don't feel seen anymore. And you're like, well, someone's going to fucking see me. And you're basically telling someone, hey, I'm missing this. I'm missing the old us, me. I miss my old me. I want to be me again. Like, I have to change to please you. I don't want to be with you then.
Right. Right.
Like, if I was a freca all my life and then I meet this man that's amazing, but then that piece of me that I'm like, damn, I have to be reserved now, but he's such a good man. But now I gotta be this reserved wife. Why you can't be his? Why you can't be his hoe, his wife, the
His
mother of the
everything.
children, his everything?
Everything.
Why can't it be the whole package? Why is
Right.
there always something fucking lacking?
Right.
It
Right.
sucks. You know why though? There's no conversation.
That's the part. And that's exactly why I wanted to bring this up, because we're aligned. No, this is exactly it. She admits it. She actually says to him towards the end of the season 2, he actually goes back to an old flame and they are engaged, and he tells her, I'm going to ask her to marry me, and she's happy for him, right? The main character, the now ex-wife, and she goes, that's who you should have been with this whole time had I been honest with myself, had I been honest with you. And the reason I want to bring this to light is because a lot of the time, and this is not by no means is a bashing thing, it's about putting out there what it means to be a woman. This is part of the empowerment and the power that us women have. When we say we are a powerhouse, we mean it. We absolutely do. But with that comes the ways that we say we want things, the things we want, how we want them, standing in our truth, standing in our power, right? And being able to be vocal about that, and not hide behind someone's idea of you. When you are a woman and you know just how strong you are, you should be able to live in that. You should be able to live in your
Yeah,
truth.
especially if you're choosing to marry someone and spend the rest of your life, which is what you're supposed to do when you get married, right? That's the thing. It's not like you're doing this for like, oh, well, let's try this for 5 years. No, you marry somebody because you expect to be with that person for till death do us part is what they say, right? Now, if you cannot tell your partner who you really are from the beginning before you even get to the point of let's get married, that's not the right partner for you. Because I just feel like it's gonna erupt eventually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if it is a sexual conversation, even if it is, hey, I don't like the way you eat me out. I like this. Hey, I like this. Hey, can you move this way? Like, growing up, I would just, and we had this conversation in the last podcast, like, I was just having sex to have sex. It wasn't for me. It was just a thing to do, literally. Because I was young. I didn't know any better. I didn't know about my body. I didn't know what I liked. Now, I mean, I was in a long term relationship for 5 years. It took a good year and a half for us to really understand our bodies. But we had to talk about it. Because I was like, I can't do this unless you figure me out or try. Like, because it's the truth. If I can't tell my partner, hey, I don't like that, I actually like this, then that's going to, in tune later, affect us. Because if I'm holding on to this idea of, damn, this is what I like, and I've been just doing this because of you and the way you like it, then what about me? You're having an amazing time every night. You're coming. You're finishing. Tú estás gozando. Y yo ahí. Oh, it was so much fun. I this phase cannot lie.
Same.
So they would be like, "Are you good?" Like, if you're asking me if I'm good, I'm not. Like, bye. So like the whole situation really stems from just having initial conversations, and also just women not being scared to say, "Hey, something's going on." Even men, a man, when it comes to a man, obviously, and women. Sorry, my son. But like giving oral is different for every man and every woman. Someone likes this, someone doesn't. This one likes that one doesn't. You can't be like, I've done this my whole life this way. Then this guy comes along and is like, yo, I don't like that hurts. Or hey, too fast. Or hey, too slow. You can't be offended and be like, what the fuck? I know what I'm doing. No, bitch. You do for someone else.
Right.
He don't like that.
And I love, and this is why I'm like with Josie, like Josie sees it how I do. I've said this on this platform before. If we as people, as adults, especially partners in relationships, cannot have something so bare of a conversation completely naked, how can you have any other types of conversations, whether individually or with your partner of any other kind? How do you walk into a room and know how to approach someone when you can't even have a naked truth conversation with the person you sleep with. And I truly feel
that's
that
the
way.
very vulnerable time.
It's a very vulnerable time. Yes.
Have it at that moment because they're like, oh my God, you're seeing all of me right now. You're literally seeing all of me and you're asking me this? Like, what? But I'm so like open with conversations since I was younger. And even my friends would be like, yo, you talk about anything. Like you can always you're the go to for conversations because I don't judge
Yep.
anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is my partner. If he says, yo, I want to try this, I'd be like, all right, yes. Even if I don't want to, literally, because I'm like, you know what? It's something you're gonna enjoy possibly. Let me try it with you. And I might pick it up and be like, you know what, that wasn't so bad. And then vice versa. Like, I want to try this. And I've been in a situation where I'm like, oh, I don't really want to.
Right.
But I'm willing to
But
like
I'm with,
explore.
yes.
And then be like, you know what, it wasn't so bad. Maybe we could try something different. Or let's try this. It's literally just a conversation. And the thing is with the whole emotional thing behind it, you don't want to offend your partner. Getting offended or hurting someone's feelings or them thinking, yo, are you cheating? Or where did you learn this? Or why do you even know this stuff? I had a life before you.
Yes. Ooh, talk about that. Ooh.
I had a life before you. People did things differently. Everybody's different. Even kissing. You can't kiss the same people the same way. Everybody kisses different. Like just that. And that's so intimate to me. I feel like kissing is
Me
way more
too.
intimate. Yo, if you made out with someone, if you made out,
Yes, that
no,
is
it's so
actually
to
very
me.
intimate.
Some people are like,
Yeah.
why? It's just a kiss. I'm like, a tap kiss is
It's
just a
not just
kiss.
a
But if
kiss.
y'all making out,
Uh-huh.
there's some emotional like, ooh, oh, I like
Mm-hmm.
this, and then I'm gonna be like, I feel like that hurts more. You remember in the first season when they go to the fucking swinger party, how
Mm-hmm.
upset she got at that
Yes.
scene.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's a very intimate moment
Which on this
versus
platform,
just having sex. I feel like if he was just having sex, she wouldn't have felt the way she felt. But the fact that he was like enjoying that and finished
yes,
so fast, she was like, I
she
can't
got
believe you
her.
just. She
She
was
got her.
her, and he was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? I thought we
Yeah.
came here for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the
No.
whole communication was a mess. But I'm like,
100%.
I felt her. Like I was like,
No, no, it's so true. And again, listen, safe space here because on this platform, I've definitely shared my experience with a former partner going to a sex club. One of the things for sure, and I never incriminate, so I don't say names here, and I'm not gonna say his name. But one of the things I did appreciate is in one of those moments, there was a conversation had, and he did say, "Listen, I, starting today, like today, I'm just not feeling the idea of having to see you with someone else or you see me with someone else. I just want it to be my enjoyment with you." And that communication piece, I had to understand. I had to respect that. That's my partner in that moment, right? We're going to go into the space together like we have, but I need to respect his comfort. And I do not take for granted at all. I appreciate it so much that he was vocal about that and communicated that to me because that just made it all the more easier and still enjoyable in that moment for us to still continue to do what we like to do, but in the way that is fitting for the both of us, right? Because I was still going to get my fix of what I wanted. It didn't take away anything from me. We just needed to have that communication too.
that's important.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad that we were able to highlight this because I do think that in the spirit of what today is Women's Day, we don't want to taboo what a woman's power is in her body and her sexuality. We don't want to taboo anymore the comfort that a woman has, right? To be so confident in her skin in any space, whether she's at the kitchen, whether she's in the backyard, whether she is building things in her house, whether she's a boss, a CEO, a VP, or what have you, or she is in the bedroom. Wherever a woman is, you are to feel in your power. Make sure that people know who you are and what you want in life. And that's why I wanted to put that twist here because it's obvious. Sex life is about sex, but there's more
Mm-hmm.
to that. And
No, but that's why the show is called Sex Slash Life. Because the
life.
thing is, when you first see it, you're like, this is probably a fucking another little Netflix porno thing. No,
Mm-mm.
there's a storyline that's so important back
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
And if you're not paying attention, all your focus is on the porno scenes
Yeah.
because they were great. But
Yeah.
no, the whole point is like, yo, this lady's hurting.
Yeah.
Like she's not whole anymore. And
And she
she,
found herself. She
yeah.
got her doctorates in
Mm-hmm.
what her career was. And going back to the sex party scene, the other people was actually his best friend and his wife.
Yeah.
In season 2, that wife of that best friend, she goes for a divorce. She realizes that the things they were doing was just for distraction, and she was trying to get back in her field too. She was regaining her confidence and her power, in that
See,
moment.
that part in that relationship, she was pleasing him.
Yeah, it was one way.
It was one way.
Yes. Yes.
So it happens a lot. My husband likes this, I do this. What do you like? My wife likes this, I do this. What do you like? Do y'all like anything together? Like, so that's huge. That's big.
So it's a recommendation for y'all. Definitely pay attention to it. Pay attention. I mean, focus on what you're going to see because you're going to see a lot, but pay attention to it because there's so much more to these stories on all sides, by all accounts. Both seeing a vulnerable man, both seeing a man, several men, right? Several men making changes too, being in their vulnerable state, in their emotions, being aware of what they're ready for, what they're not, and also the storylines with the women. I just think it was so powerful the way the production was with all of the plots and the twists.
They added a lot of plots and twists in
They
there.
sure did. That's my
Like,
kind of show.
yeah, mine too. I mean, it
Yes.
was great. I'm glad you
Yes.
brought that up because that's a topic that not many people will talk about.
Oh no, we talk about it here. We do. But perfect segue to go into the as raw as it gets. Here I want to highlight, and I open up this little topic: breaking away and breaking shit, including mass traditions. So I want to dig a little deeper with you, Josie. Today you have decided, well, not specifically today, but today in life, you have decided to step into an impactful season of coaching and the podcasting. I mean, you are multifaceted, okay? It's multifaceted, absolutely. And you've been doing the CEO life. That is essentially the CEO life. That's what it is. I want to
For a
know.
long time.
Yes, for a long time. But it's funny. I just recently met you, Ryan. In the little bit of time that I met you, I feel like I've learned so much about you. And tuning into your podcast, just listening to where you stand today, right? And just the little bit that you shared of who you were once, right? And I know there's going to be more to learn about your
Oh, there
journey.
is.
There
I do
is.
snippets. Here's a little
Yes.
bit today.
Yes. Well, remember what we said. There's a little mystery there. So I love
Yeah.
that because I'm all about the mystery, right? But tell me your why. Tell me your why today, right? How did you get here? Why did you get here to now exploring the CEO life that includes the coaching and the podcasting?
So I realized as an event planner and wedding planner, for so long I was enjoying the event industry, just being around people. I'm a people person, networking, getting out there, putting my name out there, meeting this one, connecting people. I always connect people. That's one thing I did throughout all these years. Fulana met this one, I went to this event and I held an event or I hosted an event. And in the background of everything, I'm like, I'm always helping people master something in their business or in their life or help them figure something out. If there's a problem, if there is a confusion, if they don't know what to do, if they're stuck, I was always the go to person. Like, hey, even men, hey, I'm trying to market this. How can I get my name out there? How can I? And I noticed for years I was doing it. I see, like as a favor. Oh, hey, just call me tomorrow. I'll help you. Then a few years back, I started teaching workshops for event planners, teaching them how to plan, how to coordinate, helping them with pricing. I did that for 2 years before COVID. I held so far since then about 7 classes. My next class is actually next Wednesday. And I haven't had an in person class in a while, so it's going to be exciting. But after even that, during COVID, like being shut down, because my industry completely shut down for almost a year, I lost so much money. I lost almost all my savings. I was living off unemployment, bullshit that wasn't doing anything for me. And I started getting coaching myself because I felt stuck. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what if this happens again? Like, what am I supposed to do again? Max out my savings, stop working, not do shit because I didn't have anything else going on. I didn't have a full time job, I didn't have a part time job. So when I got coached, my coach was like, you know, you're a coach, right? Like, what you do is coach people. And I was like, no, I'm not. I just teach them stuff. And they're like, well, you're not a teacher. And I'm like, no, I'm not. They're like, so you might, but all those students in the past would call me their mentor, their coach. And I just wasn't embracing that until they kept telling me, bro, yo, you're a coach. Like, you literally coach these people. You literally train these people. You mentor these people. They still come back to you after 3 years. They still reach out to you with, oh my gosh, I'm having this problem. How can I do this? Where do you think? Blah, blah, blah. And I answer and I answer. And I was doing it for free. And then I was like, holy shit, I am a coach. And I had to just start embracing that because I feel like I was put on this earth to help people. I just didn't know how. And if helping them meant helping them succeed in their business or life, relationship, whatever it is, then that's what I'm going to do. So I started coaching last February and I did a group, my first group session. I had 8 students. I was like, okay. And then I did another group. I had about 6. I said, okay. Then I had some one-on-ones and it just kept, and I was like, this feels so good. And also because I was just exhausted from hosting events. I was actually like peopled out, if that makes sense. Like I was like, I'm a people person, but I'm so tired of like the fucking wedding and the party and the birthday because I'm like, ya está bueno. Like I'm so tired. And it's not even like the planning because I'm also a designer. So I would be on site designing. I would be setting up, breaking down, getting home late, missing weekends with my kids, missing family time. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I missed so much of my daughter's life because she was a baby child when I started this business and I can't get that time back. And then I was like, I don't want to go through the same shit with my son. And all of last year, I had so much more time, but I was still making money because I was coaching. But I was just coaching on my time, like my schedule. I was able to put out a schedule. You're gonna coach when I'm available. But events are when they're needed.
They need it, right?
Mm-hmm. So it's not like I could be like, you know what, that Saturday doesn't work for me. Can you do your party next Saturday? No, nobody gives a fuck about your schedule. They don't. The event world is literally one of the top 5 or 7 most stressful industries, and it was before a fucking the fucking ambulance people, EMTs. I was like, what? Yeah, we have so our stress. This was like 2 years ago. It came up, and I was like, I need out. Like when I read that, I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. How the fuck are we even in the same category as those? Like it was like hospital. Like I was like, what? But then when you think about it, we're literally taking on all the stress from the bride, the people, the guests, the vendors, we as the planner or the coordinator, because when I'm coordinating, I'm in charge of all the vendors. It could be 20 vendors for an event. And on top of the 20 vendors, the 150 guests, the fucking menu, the this one, the that one, jodiendo, the grandma, the mom, the yo, my brain was like, I can't fucking do this. And am I still doing events? Yeah, but not like before because I know that I was burnt out. Like when I felt burnt out, I started like getting annoyed at events. Like while I'm there, I'm like, this fucking bitch, this fucking this fucking that. And I was like, all right, I need to go home.
Yeah.
And before we'd be like, party, fiesta, wedding, what? You're like, after party, sure. Now I'm like, yo, when the fuck is this over? Like, why the fuck do you guys want to party till midnight? I'm tired. But that's when I was like, okay, I need out. Like, I'm starting to hate what I'm doing and I don't want to hate it. I want to be able to pick and choose what events I want to work for. I want to be able to pick and choose. You know what? That budget's pretty good. I am going to work this Saturday. Like, you don't have what? No, I'm not going. I'm unavailable. Now I tell people, oh, I'm not available that day when the budget is not worth it because I know my worth now. Before I didn't. I would just take every fucking event, every time, every weekend. And the thing is, it was a need. Like I needed to work for financial reasons. Now, do I need to work? Of course, I'm not fucking rich. This shit, my coaching business didn't blow up yet. I would love it to, but I gotta put in the work now. I put in so much work with events. Now I gotta put in so much work for coaching and the podcast. It's like the reason I want to use the podcast is to use my voice in a different form where it's not I'm not necessarily coaching you in my podcast, but eventually some of my topics are going to be coach worthy. Like I have a mindset one that's not broadcasting I think next week or the week after. That's a big topic, mindset, right now, especially for entrepreneurs. Like if your mind is not clear, you're not going to be able to do the things that you put yourself out there to do. And that's huge, even in your life in general. Even if it's a weight loss journey, a fucking, whatever journey you're on, if your mind is not right, you're just not going to get the shit done. And that's something that I had to work on for so long, because my mind, I would have serious imposter syndrome. I was suffering imposter syndrome for like a year when I kept telling myself I'm not a coach. And then I was like, I don't remember the day it was a shift. And I was like, yo, they're right. I am a fucking coach and I need to own up to it, and I need to do this. I need to provide this service because it's needed. So that's really why it started and how it started. And I'm hoping that it picks up to where I am solely doing coaching, speaking on panels, and the podcast, because
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
But you
From
see, even with your exhaustion, right? You said a key word there. You said that you were no longer happy with that.
Yeah.
Like you noticed the shifts in that, right? Another thing I want to be able to highlight here, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? When you are here stepping into your entrepreneurship in a different light, right? In a different season, right? With different goals, right? A pivot, let's call it that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is this now stepping out of your comfort zone, right? Because having done event planning for so long, right? There was a sense of comfort there. How is this
Oh yeah.
stepping out of the comfort here, and being how we say on this platform we get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? So
Mm-hmm.
how was that for you with that pivot and that transition so far?
I'm still I still have moments where I struggle with the comfort of calling myself a coach, of even showing up as a coach. There's times
Mm-hmm.
that when I introduce myself, I still say wedding and event planner. And then I'm like, oh, and I'm a coach. Because it's just embedded in me to be
Mm-hmm.
what I've been for so long, right? So I still have that moment of uncomfortableness saying that. So
Mm-hmm.
now I've been practicing even introducing myself as a coach first, and then I say, "Oh, and I'm a wedding and event planner." And the reason I do it now is because it's a practice for me to remind myself to own up to who the fuck I am, to
Mm-hmm.
pivot. And the funny thing is, you use the word pivot, and on my page, if I'm not mistaken, it still says helping you pivot like a pro, or guiding you pivot. I know it says pivot like a pro in
Mm-hmm.
life and business, because that's what I want to do for others,
Yeah.
for them to pivot into like owning their truth, who they are, what they're
Yeah.
doing, their business or life, whatever they're coming to me for.
Right.
So it's funny that you just used that word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, because you know what it is? I mean, it's so easy to say, oh, the change or the transition. All of that is very true. But I feel like you've been in the entrepreneurship. You just pivoted where your entrepreneurship is leading you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that's great, right? A pivot is good sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
When it comes to, you mentioned how you missed out on a lot with your first
Mm.
child, right? Like just,
Almost, if I'm literally, since she was born, when she was born, I was in college still. I mean, she was born my senior year in high school.
yeah.
So I went straight to college. I didn't miss anything. You know, people take time off. I didn't. I kept going. So I went to school at night, college, and then I worked during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I saw her like 8 p.m. till the morning, and started over every day until the weekend, until she was 6, 7. And then after that, I launched the business. And then I just worked on weekends too, and worked during the week because I had a full time job and ran the business until I don't know what year, but the one I had been getting laid off. I was in like the mortgage industry
Mm-hmm.
when the market crashed like years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I got laid off 3 times back to back, and I was like, okay, God, I'm not going back to work. I'm gonna figure this shit the fuck out. And I never went back to full time work. I kept just going as an event planner, and I did that up until last year when I said I'm gonna start coaching. And that,
Yeah.
but I was just gone all the time. And then I got pregnant again when she was 6. Yeah, because my son was born when she was 7. So, or when she was turning 7. So I was 25 at the time. So then I have 25, 2 kids, a job. I was still working the full time job and working the weekends for events until like in my early 30s is when I went full time entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So it was crazy. It was
Yeah.
literally fucking crazy. Like I was just like gone all the time. They would have games I would miss. My son would have a game. I'd be like, I can't make it. Oh, my Mia was doing. I can't make it. I'll see you guys when I get home. And then the arguing with the father, and you're never around this business. Are you sure you want to do this? Like what the fuck? You need to be home. And we were so young and fucking toxic, and the way we spoke to each other was just. I understand him now.
Now. I
Why
was
he
just going
was
to
so
ask you.
upset. But when
Yeah.
I was younger, I'm like, fuck you. You don't want me to live my life. Fuck
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I felt controlled. I felt like nobody wanted me to do anything. I just felt like, I'm going to do this. I don't care. I was always, I was always, I don't want to say rebellious, but I always did whatever the fuck I wanted to,
Yeah.
whether they told me not to or not.
Yeah.
With or without the kids. Like, I was like, no, I'm going to fucking go to college. Because what happened was, when I got pregnant with me, I was a senior, and her dad was already graduated the year before. And everyone's like, oh my God, you're going to ruin your future if you have this baby. Oh my God, you're going to never go to college. Oh my God, your life is over. And what did I do? I said, fuck you all. I'm going to college. What did I do? I went to college, and they were like, this bitch really went to college. Yeah, for 5 years too, not even 4. I added another fucking year. And then and then I worked my ass off. And then I kept working my ass off. And I'm like, my life wasn't over, right? I don't know if you heard
Right.
the mompreneur one that I launched
I
yesterday.
sure have. Talk
Because
about it.
I realize like people always blame you or your child, whatever timing you're gonna become a parent. Like your life is gonna be over or your life is gonna change. No, how about your life just started? How about you think about it
Mm-hmm.
like that? How about you say, you know what? Maybe I did get pregnant when I was 17, but I moved the fuck out and I never went back home since. So
Amen.
tell me how the fuck I was able to do that. Ask me,
Yeah.
I don't remember. I
Yeah.
know that I did whatever it took to not have to move back home to my mom. You know, I mean, she offered it like last week. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm not moving back in your house. I
Yeah.
know, you know,
Same. I
pa no
was like,
pagar renta. I
I
was
was
like,
like, no.
no. So for so long, I mean, sometimes I'm like, damn, I want to go home. I hate it
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Nobody
But
told me
I'm
it was
like,
gonna be like this.
who the fuck said I signed up for all this shit? But for a while, like, I just had that in me where I'm like, no, I'm fucking proving people wrong because I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of people telling me like life is over and what are you doing? And oh my God. And then when we got pregnant with our son, we weren't even really together. So it was like everybody was like, are you guys fucking stupid? And I was like,
Right.
we are kind of stupid, but we were
Yeah.
young and dumb, and I thought I was in love, and I thought that, oh my God, he's the same father for the 2 kids. This is perfect, a little fairy tale. And then it didn't
Mm-hmm.
work out, and I was like, oh, I failed.
Mm-hmm.
So got back up and did what I had to do. But at the end of the day, like, do I regret anything? No. I think I just regret um not asking for help.
Mm. Okay.
Because I
Okay.
always was just like, I'm gonna figure it out. My friends always say, yo, I don't know how you used to figure. My friends that started having kids like in their 30s, they're like, how the fuck did you do this?
Do
Yo,
it.
my
Same.
friend till this day, Melissa, if you hear this, she'd be like, I still have no idea how the fuck you did this at 18 and 19 years old. She's like, I'm like 38 and I have 2 kids under 3. I think they're all both under 3. Yeah. And she's like, this is crazy. And I'm like, it is crazy. I don't remember. But I did have help with her grandmother from her dad's side. Nana is an angel. She's still my freaking, I don't know what I'd do without her till this day. She sacrificed every day and watched my daughter for me every fucking day since she was 2 weeks old because I was determined to finish school. I was like, I need to graduate and I need to go to college. Whether or not your son is going to go to college is not my problem, but I am. So she sacrificed and me la cuidó for years. For years. My daughter thought that that was her mom. And you know what's crazy? I just talked about it recently because my daughter hated coming home. She just wanted Nana. So when I was younger, I hated that so much. I felt like a failure. Like I was like, what did I do? I'm just going to work. Like, why doesn't this little girl love me? But I didn't get it. It's just she felt loved over there. With
Right.
me, she was just like, well, we're going home and we're going to sleep. And we're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to leave me again with my Nana for every day for weeks and weeks. And then, you know, that was it. Until I got older and I was like, she was just getting love. And that's what she wanted. And I didn't know how to give that because I was a fucking workaholic. So,
You know, it's funny you're sharing this, and I always say, very transparent here. I always shoot over an agenda just to give an overview of questions, but the conversations are always going to flow. And it's so interesting because this is exactly what I wanted to highlight. So, because we've been planning to record already, I knew this was going to air for women's month, right? Because month is Women's Month, right? And one thing for sure here, we're about to make 3 years on this show on March 17th, and so for I've been consistent with that. We always feature some strong woman here, and I know I am one, but I love to bring that powerhouse over, right? And so to have met you and know you now, I knew I wanted to share this platform and lead with a conversation of things that people don't like to talk about. And so one of the things that I love that you just mentioned, um and I share your sentiment on that, is being determined to finish school, even though you know a baby is in existence, right? I had my son on the Monday that spring break started, and I went back to school when he was 3 weeks. I had to hand him over to my mom.
Me too.
Wednesdays, I didn't go home till 10 o'clock at night, and I was in school by 9 o'clock. So there's so much there that I understand what that must have felt like for you, because we know why we're doing it in that moment, right? We know the reasons why, right? Is you're having to prove to people that they're wrong. You're not going to just drop out, right? You're not just gonna not finish or not go to college, because that's what you want to do, right? And you have a little person who you're also doing it for, because it's not just you're forgetting about you. This is for you and for that person, right? And people don't understand the pressure that that is, to have to figure things out, to have to get it done, because we feel somewhere inside us, we feel like we have something to prove to someone else, to the naysayers, to the ones that it kind of, my nephew tells my sister all the time, you're praying for my downfall. He tells her that when he wants to guilt trip her, and it's like there was people who at some point may have been praying for our downfall. It's
For so
horrible
long,
feeling.
for so long, even up to recently, sometimes I still feel like I have to live a certain life for other people. I have to change the way I speak sometimes. I have to, you know, curse less and be less loud and oh my God, and don't dance, don't twerk, don't do this. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like, I'm so fucking over it. Like, can you just let me live? Like, at this point, are you serious? Like, I'm not hurting nobody. Who am I hurting? I'm not hurting anybody. If anybody's offended, that's really their problem, because
Right.
I'm not doing nothing wrong.
Yeah. Josie, to that point, right? Because this conversation is just flowing so great. The Josie that was once then, right? That had to prove something to someone. And I know sometimes here today, because I go through that too. Sometimes it's like, Daisy, you stop that code switch. Like, you don't do that anymore. Like, stop it, right? Because thank God I'm finally at a workplace environment where I truly feel like I'm seen for who the fuck I am. I have to honestly say that, and it's been refreshing to still be able to be passionate about a career that at a place that accepts you for who you are, right? I'm very grateful for that opportunity, right? Because I know I've earned it, and I've earned the place that I have today. But even today, sometimes that it's ingrained in us, right? Like that code switch,
Yeah.
because we're so used to doing it, right? But would you say that where you are today, right, with this pivot, with this new season of your entrepreneurship, do you think you're doing it today to prove anything to anybody else, or is this to prove to Josie who Josie is?
No, I feel like the last 6 months really is when I woke up and I was like, no, this is finally for me.
Yeah.
Because 6 months before, even earlier last year, when I was saying I'm gonna start coaching, people were like, "What? What the fuck is that? Like, where did that come from? You're an event planner.
Right.
Like, stay there." And I'm like, "Okay, that's great." But I also was teaching for 2 years before this, and I have the same students that come back for help still. I'm like, I can coach them, like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just stopped telling people. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, I'm gonna fucking do it. And one thing for sure is, those that know me, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. And I don't give a shit what it takes, how I'm gonna get it done. I don't care. Like, and that's why I say sometimes, like, I don't know how I did some of the things I did in my past, or where I got to where I'm at now. And I'm still not financially where I want to be, but
Right.
meaning in general, being able to do what I've done, travel, explore, go on retreats, take my kids on vacations, go on solo trips. Like, I couldn't do that for so long because I felt guilted to leave my kids. I felt
Mm.
guilted to go away. I felt guilted to, like, even when I was in my relationship, I felt guilted because there was times where financially, like, I was making more at one point, And it was like, okay, I want to go away, but we can't because you don't have enough. But then if I have to pay for the whole thing, all right, let's just not go away. And then at one point, I'm like, yo, I'm paying for this trip. Let's go. Like, I want to go on a fucking trip. Like, if you're going to come, let me know. Like, what's up? Because the thing with me is, I don't feel like your man has to pay for everything. I don't feel like your partner has to provide for you every way. If I got it, then I'm going to figure it the fuck out.
Girl.
And when you got it, then you figure it the fuck out. Because that's why we're in this together, right?
Yeah.
So one thing about me is, if you can't go because you don't have money, that don't mean we can't go. I have money. Right. If you want to do something, but you don't have it right now, but I want to do it, we're going to do it.
We're going to do it.
We're going to do it. We're going to figure it out later. Because I'm not going to fucking stop living over money. Money is this fucking thing que me tiene loca that everybody worries about so much. It comes and fucking goes. That's what it's here for.
Right.
So we're going to make all this money and then we're going to die.
Right.
And the money's going to stay there.
Stay here.
So I'm like, no, I'm going to use my fucking money and I'm going to enjoy life now because when I die, I can say, hey, at least I got to go to fucking Morocco. At least I got to go to Mexico. At least I got to take my kids to the Bahamas. At least like different things. And it's just like, what am I waiting for? Who am I waiting for? So now people are like, that, but you've been traveling so much. I'm like, because I did it for so long.
Right.
Now that I want to fucking go out, my kids are big as hell. They can't get upset. I'm like, I'm out. Mom's out. Y'all good? Okay, I'm out. Like, y'all want to come one time? Okay, we'll go one time. But I need to live. Like, I'm at a point where I'm like, I really would like to just live instead of just be a robot. I felt like a fucking robot for so long.
Right. And you already missed out on so much, right? Why continue missing out on things, right? Why continue missing out on moments? You said something that's so essential, and I think that's exactly what the clip is going to be. Because I was just talking to a gentleman today. Again, I don't incriminate anyone here, so don't ask for no names. But I literally just explained to that gentleman, and I said, the way I roll is very simple. These are the things Daisy needs, right? To meet those needs or to meet her wants, this is what you have to do. I am a believer that I take care of the other person. I take care of my partner. If that partner is giving me what I want, or that person, not necessarily a partner, but just someone who there might be an understanding with, is meeting my needs and is meeting my wants, then I know what I am willing and able to give to that person if it's what's going to meet their needs and their wants. And I feel that in life, it is a give and a take, right? And when we think about that, right, it's an exchange. In the business world, it might be a transaction, right? It may be an agreement, whatever that looks like. But when you look at it, when you think about all of it, is establishing what we want, still in our power, still in our truth, is establishing where we stand in life. Something that I learned recently, not to feel guilty of, and I learned it at the panel that you and I both did, with your cousin, Lisa. It's not being picky, it's having my standards and being able to move forward with my standards, right? Because I know who I am. I know what I want, right? I know what my needs are. So why can't I stand truth in that power, right? Why can't I be able to say these are my standards, right? Knowing, just like you, I'm about I could give for you too. Like, if this is what I want, then we can do this. You know what I mean? It can go that way too. So I love that you brought that up and that you were so transparent with that. I have one question before we go into the next segment. Keeping it raw. If you had to give Josie's life as of today, just one word, just one,
I remember this question,
that best describes it, what would that word be?
A roller coaster.
I love it. Some people love roller coasters. Some people
don't.
So she doesn't.
I literally fucking don't really care
Fun
for
fact, I don't either.
I don't know if it's an age thing, but I'm like, yo, quítame esto, despégame de aquí, me voy a morir.
Yeah, no.
So, how the roller coasters go up and everything's cool. And you're like, this is so much fun, I love it here. And then you don't know, it's like, why am I stuck? I feel stuck.
Yeah.
And then it's like, fuck you. Fuck you.
Not the fuck you.
Yo, I've been in those moments where I'm like, and it's happening again. We're going up, we're going up, we're going up. Everything feels so good. And then it's like,
true, though. Yeah. And I haven't been on one in so long, but you're so right. There's like this awkward little silence, right? When it's about to drop.
Because you're just there and you're like, yeah. ¿Y ahora qué hacemos? Nada. Muérete.
Yeah. The way that I haven't been on a roller coaster. Y'all don't judge me. Y'all about to learn something today.
How long?
I'm gonna tell you the month because I remember exactly what it was. I could tell the story too.
Oh, so it was like within a year?
No.
Oh, because you said the month. So I'm like,
so let me tell you guys something. Okay, in the spirit of roller coasters and this being the one word that Josie chose here. Okay, the last time I was on a roller coaster was at Six Flags Great Adventures. It was okay. Hear me now. Pay attention, guys. It was in the year 2007 in the month of June. Now I'm going to tell you why I know this, okay? I can tell you what I was wearing too, but I'm going to tell you why. Fuck? Because, listen, we keep it all the way
actually, now that you remembered, I remember mine now.
Okay, so let me tell you why. I went out that night, the night before, with my girls, right? I had already left my home. I had already lived with my ex-spouse, right? We were living together. Okay, I sure did. We went out clubbing in Queens with the girls to celebrate one of the girls' birthday, right?
I'm already sick.
I went to sleep over at one of the other girls' house because I was like, I'm not gonna go. I'm the only girl from the Bronx, as per usual. The girl from the Bronx travels everywhere, right? Because yo soy metiche, así, I go everywhere, bien atrevida. So I go sleep over the other girl's house, and I wake up the next morning, and my ex-spouse was working the night shift, loss prevention. He listens to the podcast, guys, so he's probably gonna listen to this, he's gonna laugh. But he worked on Fifth Avenue at a store, and I said, "Oh, I'll come meet you. I'll take the cab over to the city. We go home." He said, "Great, no problem." We didn't have our son at this time, right? So remember, I'm hungover. It was a night of clubbing, drunk as shit. Okay, we go home. And he's like, you know what? Let's just go to Six Flags. And I'm like, yeah, let's just go to Six Flags. So we change clothes, right? We're heading to Six Flags. We go, I get on those roller coasters. And on the last roller coaster, I felt so sick, but sick. And I was like, what the fuck happened to me? What is wrong with me? Oh my God, right? I'm here like
the liquor was
flipping.
coming out of your pores.
It was the liquor, right? No, ladies and gentlemen, it was not. A month later, I confirmed that I was pregnant. I was pregnant with my son a month later. So this child who's about to be 16 this month, ladies and gentlemen, survived Six Flags, a whole roller coaster, and a night of drinking.
Oh, hold on. So my last roller coaster ride was my son's, I think, 11th birthday. We went to Nickelodeon place here. We're like, yo, let's get on this first ride. First of all, that fucking shit was a nightmare. I think I broke my neck with the whiplash. I felt like shit. I wanted to die. I was like, me and his dad were like, what the fuck was that? It was the worst fucking, it was like turning so fast and just going up, down. And I was like, esto pa matarlo viejo, because I can't be on this. And I didn't go on anything else. I felt sick the rest of the night, whatever. But you just gave me a flashback about the whole pregnancy thing. So let me tell you, summer before my senior year, we went to Disney. My mom, my sister, me, and my stepbrother at the time. August. I got sick on the airplane. Barfing all over the plane. So I'm like, damn, I guess the burger we stayed in a hotel the night before in New York. I'm like, damn, that burger, like, and I used to get sick in airplanes growing up. Okay. So it wasn't nothing new. Like, I used to really, you know how people throw up on the plane. I always used to throw up. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm getting sick. I threw up on the plane. Cool. We get to Disney, the hotel. I threw up. I'm like, okay, this burger is really fucking me up, right? The first day they're going to Disney, I could not stop throwing up. And it was throw up, que throw up, que throw up. And my mom's like, oh my God, you must have a really bad stomach virus. And I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? Yo, never would I have imagined that there was a little person inside of me. But, so I'm like, the next day, I feel worse. I'm like, Mom, I don't think I could go to the park. Like, I can't stop throwing up. She's like, Becca. They go to the pharmacy, they get me, Gatorade, the bullshit, whatever. My stepbrother's like, bitch, are you pregnant? And I was like, he was young. And I was like, no. So they leave. I call John, their father. I'm like, hey, I don't feel good. Like, I keep throwing up. And I call one of my best friend at the time. And I'm like, hey, girl, I don't know, but when I get home, I'm going to have to go to, like, the doctor, Planned Parenthood. She's like, oh, we can go to Planned Parenthood. You're 17, whatever. And I'm like, okay, because I didn't know anything any better. Bitch. I go the next day to the park with them, right? And in my head, I'm already like, I'm pregnant. Like, I know this, right? Every ride had the thing that said, if you're pregnant,
stop.
pregnant, pregnant. And I was like, I'm going on these fucking rides because I'm not pregnant, right? I'm going on these rides. Go on all these rides. That was the only day I didn't feel good. Like, I felt okay. That night I got sick. I started throwing up, but it was like the acid. Like, I just, nothing in. I was like this when I was 115 pounds. And I'm like, I had like a 6-pack, and I'm like, there's no way I'm pregnant. Come on. Yo, I go back home. I go with Andrea at the time to fucking Planned Parenthood. Yo, the lady's like, do you think you could be pregnant? I'm like, I don't think so. Like, whatever. I'm like telling her about my period. She comes back. She's like, well, we have news. And I'm like, all right, what's up? She says, you're 12 weeks pregnant.
Oh my God.
Do you know what 12 weeks is?
Guys, at this point,
there's a whole human.
First of all,
there was a whole human in there.
First of all, I'm mad she said she had abs still. So
I had a 6-pack. I was lit. I was like, yo, I looked at the girl. I became fucking stupid, and I go, how long is 12 weeks? And she's like, you're 3 months pregnant. And I said, no, I just had my period last month. And she's like, you can get your period in the beginning. And I said, no. And the girl was like, listen, you're probably nervous. And I'm like, no, there's no way. I'm telling you right now, there's no way. And I'm arguing with this fucking doctor. And she's like, do you want me to call like your mom? I said, are you fucking crazy? No, bitch. I gotta call the father first. And I was like, no. Yo, I hid it for like 2 more weeks. My mom hears this, she's gonna be so mad. I kept missing school. I'm like, I don't feel good. This stomach virus. And one day, you know what my mom says? No te preocupes. Hoy vamos al médico mío. Because this bug is taking too long. And I looked at her and I said, you know what? No, I'm gonna go to school. And she's like, no, you're not. You're gonna go to my doctor today. And I said, no, mom, I'm fine. I got dressed thinking she's gonna let me go to school. No, this bitch drove to New York to this 100-year-old doctor. And he first
wait. Where was this doctor? Was it right there in the Heights?
Yes. He was like 100. Un viejito. And I'm there like, because I already knew. Yo, this story's wild. I've never put this on air.
Oh my God.
So we go in and I'm like mad nervous. Like, oh my God, she's gonna fuck me up. Like, I'm in my head, like, she's gonna beat my fucking ass. And the guy's like, okay, vamos a hacer, pon el orine aquí, whatever. I go to the bathroom. I'm like, in the bathroom, I'm like, should I put soap in my pee? Should I put water? Like, I'm my dumbass, 17. Like, what if I just put water in it? It won't come up positive.
No.
I come on, I'm like this. And then the viejito's walking in. Ay, tenemos buena noticia. And I was like,
buena noticia.
Yeah, because it was a mirror. It was like, he's older. So he's like, oh, you're going to be a grandmother to my mom. And I'm like, and he's like, oh, no es un stomach bug, whatever the fuck it's called in Spanish. And he's like, ¿estás? And all I remember is embarazada.
Ay, Dios santo.
And I was like, I was waiting for the... And I already flinched. She didn't do nothing. And I was like... And she looked at me and she's like, bueno, I guess you're having a baby. And I was like, no, Mom. I don't have to have it. Because I thought she would be happier with me not having it.
Right.
And she's like, tú estás loca. And I'm like, no, you want me to have it? And she's like, no, tú te pusiste a tener sexo. Tú vas a tener este bebé. And I was like, wait, what? Because I was getting ready to dorm, go to college. I was in 5 colleges already. Like, I was a straight A student. And I was like, what? Well, no, I can't. No. And till this day, I was like, no, Mom, I don't know. And she's like, no. You want to fucking play around? You're going to learn how to be a parent now. And then she gave me a hug. She didn't beat my ass. She never beat my ass. I was waiting for my ass to get beat. Like, beat. I never got beat.
That is, it's insane, right? Because it's like we get so nervous. You know, right. Listen, my mom used to call it the balaron al revés. And let me tell you something. This platform knows about La
The
Charo.
backwards?
What? My mom had, okay, everybody knows La Charo. She's the sweetest fucking lady in the world. But homegirl always had 3 rings here. And they were the biggest fucking rings. And of course, the daughter, the one very bold and very vocal,
You
right?
got it all in the
I
backhand all the time.
always, it was the move. It was the move. You would think that after so many years, I would master the movement.
You know when I would get this one, I would be like,
oh, oh yeah.
yeah, I would
The
always
sucking
do
of the
that,
teeth,
knowing that she was gonna,
girl.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
¿Qué? And then if I cried, it was like, ¿Tú quieres llorar de verdad? And I'm like, but I am.
Yeah, no.
Really
For us it was, y no me llores. Don't you dare cry. Que ni te di tan duro. I didn't even hit you that hard. That's what it was for us.
No, it was like, you want to cry for real? I'm like, no, but I'm dead ass crying for real right now. Like, I'm crying.
You know, it's so interesting, right? Again, just like the way this conversation is flowing, these stories are meaningful because where we are today, once again, as women, right? And the times we're in today about women's rights, right? And what women are allowed to choose, right? I'm gonna be honest here, and I think I've shared this here on this platform before, but my pregnancies have always been products of failed birth controls. There's only one birth control that worked for me, that was an IUD. And thank God for that one. But don't get me wrong, he's cute. I mean, but the birth control was supposed to work, guys. It really was. And I laugh and I tell him this story all the time. So I'm like, yo, you better be careful. Don't be thinking that, So
I got pregnant with my son. I was on birth control.
Yeah, no, it's very real, right? But I'm definitely pro-choice, and I've definitely had to make that decision. I've definitely also miscarried. I've shared this story here in the past, and I don't have regrets to that, but a lot of it had to do, especially the after I had my son, a lot of that had to do with certain decisions, right? I never thought I would be in that position. I never thought I would have to sit there and talk to myself and make a decision for myself, right? And I eventually was. I used to be very, no, we're against that. That's not what we do. I could never, not after miscarrying too, like, oh my God. But there was a point where that could be my truth, and so can this in this moment, in this very moment of where I was becoming a single mother, right when we were breaking up, right when a divorce was in the works. This was a surprise, right? And I had to make a decision for myself, and I don't regret that by no means. But I do like to highlight the thought process that comes, right, with the older generations, right? Sometimes it was a hit or miss. Sometimes you had the parents who would decide to say, no, you're going to do this, and they'll hug you. And then you had in other times where they were the ones taking you to handle the situation.
I had a friend in high school that her mother took her, but she was very far along.
Yeah.
So it was a traumatic experience for her, because it was like a whole baby, and she was only 18, and she was like, I had to go through this whole thing. Yeah. I thought my mom, I didn't know until recent she's against it, like abortion. Yeah. She's totally against it.
Yeah.
So I now I know why she was so like, no, bitch, you want to go fuck? You're gonna have this kid, and I was like, what? And I was so young that I really was like, nah, she's not gonna want me to have a kid. Like, she knows I'm a straight A student. Like, I have all these things that I have planned. And she was like, nadie te dijo a ti que te ponga en mental. So you gotta figure, like, no one told you to fuck around. Now you gotta figure it out. And I would be like, is she dead ass? Like, what?
Girl, she was dead ass. Girl, she was
dead ass. My daughter's about to be 21. She was very dead ass.
She was very dead ass. Listen, I'm here for this conversation. I'm happy you felt comfortable enough to share this here, because times have changed. There are times now where we are having more, at least, of this conversation. And there are women who are still fighting for so many rights to at least have the conversation and the option. There are some ladies who can't do that, right? Some women, I shouldn't just say ladies, but women in general, society too. It's about just owning our bodies and making those decisions, right? And making it a safe process, a safe decision making process. Right. And I want to highlight that, because again, I come from a background too where certain things just were a no-go. Certain things were so taboo, at all. So thank you for sharing that with the roller coaster word and the roller coaster ride that this was.
Look at where that word went.
Yeah, but it's so funny because I've never shared the full story, and so I felt comfortable enough sharing it here too. So
I've never shared that shit either.
Yeah,
I've shared my closest friends know, but like the whole like I'm fucking barfing my brains out right before going, like, what?
It's Disney and Six Flags,
Blaming
y'all.
that damn burger. I was like, that burger was crazy.
Not that
Fucking 3
burger.
weeks later.
It was not hamburguesa. That's what it was.
This burger is big as fuck right now.
And the doctor said, I have great news. No
Yo,
virus.
yo tengo buena noticia. And I was like, what is this motherfucker talking about? What?
They
Oh my
not
God.
good here, sir.
I was like, the water in my urine did not help, clearly. I put water in that shit.
Not the water. That is hilarious.
I was like, is there bleach? Like, is there something in this bathroom?
I need to Google this shit.
Nothing is gonna help, girl.
This is going to segue into Double or Nothing, which is actually perfect because as we're talking about the older generations and all that good stuff, right? I want to talk about ambition. It's a word. It's a word that's not really traditional when it comes to, maybe our cultures, maybe even just like our backgrounds, right? Us as women, right? What is a woman really, according to the older generations or our cultural differences from the then to the now? What is a woman supposed to be doing versus where we are today in life? For women and how that ties into ambition and leadership. What are your thoughts with that when it comes to ambition and leadership for women?
Like what it was then and what it is now.
And what it is for you.
So the funny thing is, my mother, she married her father and had all three of us, and then they got a divorce when I was 8, turning 9. And she always just worked so much. She owned her own business as well, travel agency in Washington Heights, 178th and St. Nicholas.
Okay.
Hello. It's still there. Somebody bought it, and it's still there. We're friends with the girl that owns it now.
I love it.
And my cousin works there. Like, it stayed in the family. They actually kept her name and everything. But so I was always in the entrepreneur life, right? And I just always saw her like that, like this ambitious woman. She's gonna figure it out no matter what. If she's alone with the 3 kids, she's gonna get help. If we had to go to work with her, we went to work for her on weekends. If she had to get a nanny for us, she did. She traveled a lot. She was always in DR, back and forth, like. And I just always saw that, and I'm like, that's so cool, right? But because I didn't know that other stuff was lacking at the time, like the love at home, the time for us, I didn't see that because I just saw she's a provider. She has no choice, right? So I saw that as being ambitious, right? And then when I started it, I was like, I always told myself, I want to do things different from my mom. I want to stay with the father of my children. I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to fucking be the best mother ever. I walked right into the same footsteps as her without even planning it. I literally ended up alone, without their father. Not alone, like, in a sad situation, but it was like we weren't together. We never got married. We were so young. We had 2 kids together. We both still don't have any other children. But I did the same thing. I was a workaholic. I was ambitious to make shit work, to figure things out, to make sure my kids had what they needed, to make sure the house was well kept, food, bills were paid. I never let anybody see me struggle. My mom never let anybody see her struggle. And that was something to me. I think that that's what became ambition for me for a while, is figuring shit out and going for what's yours. And I still am the same way, except now I give myself the breaks that I need. I'm still very ambitious with everything that I do in life, but but now I can say, all right, I need a timeout. I need to listen to my body. I didn't give myself the grace in the past. I didn't give myself breaks. So, like, I now have that, and I didn't have that before. But, like, growing up in that household, it was very similar to me, what I ended up doing anyway. So it's weird. And then, but before her, I don't know, like, my grandmother was home. I don't know how she was raised, really. My mom moved around a lot, so I don't know what she considered ambition, I think it's ambicioso. is the word in Spanish? I don't know. I'm trying to think if we've
Ambición.
ever even
Yeah,
ambición.
I think
Yeah,
it's ambición,
like
but yes, ambicioso, right? It's more like that's been presented to me in my life as more of a negative tone, right?
it is. It
Like
sounds like
greedy
yeah,
type of approach, as opposed to just being ambitious, right?
yeah. I feel like I've heard ambicioso in the past more than I did
Mm,
ambición, but I can't remember when or why or how. So I don't know if I answered you
no, you did,
correctly,
because
but
it's
I feel like
interesting.
that's what
Yeah,
I considered it growing up because of how I saw it. And, you know, my sister's a business owner now, my cousin's a business owner now. Like, we all kind of like, I hang out with just business owners. Like, if not all my friends around me are entrepreneurs. My best friends from school, they're not, but they have amazing jobs. They're very ambitious in their field and their
there we go.
careers.
Right.
But we just have different lifestyles when it comes to work ethic and work and stuff like that. But they're doing very well. You know, they're married, children, they have ambition in other areas, you know.
Right.
So
What is
that's
interesting with what you just said is, I started this segment with tradition, but for your particular life, your tradition was seeing an ambitious woman, right? And leading with her goals, right? And it's so interesting because you said, I didn't want to do it like my mom did it, but I ended up doing this part just
I
like
kept
her.
saying I'm not doing that. No, I'm gonna be different. I'm doing the same thing that I didn't want to do. You
Right.
know, I'm going through the same thing that I didn't want to go through, but I don't know. That's what
Yeah.
God had planned out for me.
I come from a background where the tradition was mostly women staying at home and taking care of the kids. But the women that I mostly saw were ended up eventually coming to this country as immigrants. So they couldn't just stay at home. They
Yeah.
had to go out and work. They had to hustle and bustle to be able to provide for us, right? And the ambition translated into, this is the norm. This is what our tradition is. Tienes que, tener un buen trabajo. You have to go to school. You have to do this. You have to do that,
You gotta
right?
take care of your husband.
Take care, right? And still come home and cook and clean and make sure he's fed
Mm-hmm.
and the kids and all that other stuff. And the reason why I wanted to highlight tradition is because in a sense, I'm the one who kind of broke that. I'm one of the first ones out of there's one before me in my family and then me who did the whole divorce thing. I'm the career woman. I'm the one that
You're
would
the
love
first one that got a divorce?
the second one in the entire family on my dad's
Oh,
side.
okay.
I think on my mom's side, I am the first one. I think, on my mom's side. And essentially, what that looked like for me was, I say it jokingly here, but I'm not joking. Maybe kidding sometimes, but I'm not. I would love a man to say, you know what, I'm going to stay at home, but I'll make sure the house is good. I will upkeep it. I hope he's a great cook too. Like, do all of that for
Somebody
me.
asked if I would be okay with that, and I was like, why not?
I,
I'm not a stay-at-home person.
I'm not either. And that's the
I'm
breaking the
not.
traditions. There's some traditions out there who expect that.
Mm. We don't come from the whole stay-at-home family. Nobody in my house. I've never seen that. Um, I don't really have a big family, but the aunts that I do know, they've all worked. Their husbands worked. They both worked. Nobody stayed home. Nobody did you gotta stay home and cook and clean and all this shit. I mean, we did our duties,
Yeah.
but
Mm,
I feel like my ex did laundry. He would wash dishes. He would clean, and I was like, okay,
okay.
I could do this. In the beginning, I'm like, what are you doing? Because I lived alone for so long
Yeah.
that I didn't know how to accept help without asking for it. Like he
Oh.
would go take out the garbage and I'd be like, "What are you doing? I got it." And
Mm,
he'd be like, "Can you just like let me do this?" And then my mom one day told me, "Josie, yo sé que tú, you're so used to doing everything, pero you have a man that
yes.
is willing, then take it." And I was like, "I don't need him to do that." But it was like brainwashed that I could do everything by myself. I could do this.
Yeah.
You know that song, the Miley Cyrus now, because of her divorce and all that shit? I could buy
Yes.
myself flowers. Yeah, I can too, but I don't fucking want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Amen to
want to.
that.
So send me flowers, okay? And the thing is, can I go buy myself flowers? Yeah, I could do all the shit she
Mm-hmm.
says in her song, but it's like, yo, us women need to stop
Yeah.
with the whole I could do this, I could do that, because that's how we end up alone. Because
Yeah.
you're saying you want to do everything, so why do you need a man? Or why is a man gonna want to be around a woman that doesn't need anything from him? You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Like a man
Right.
wants to feel wanted, wants to feel needed. And that, unfortunately, it's the truth. I've literally
Right.
been told, you don't need me. Why am I here? And I'm like, because I want you.
Want you here. Yeah.
I don't need you. And you should be okay with me being okay not needing a partner. I want a partner. There's a big difference. A lot of people feel like they need a partner. Maybe they in their brain they think that's really what it is. It's not a need. You don't need to be with anybody. You want to. You don't want to be alone. You don't want to feel alone. You want to have that partner. You want to have that spouse. But it's not a need.
It's so funny because I actually learned recently, just listening to other conversations, um, we do, some of us women who are very strong, right, and who are very much so powerhouses, we 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 say that we don't need them, right? But somebody said, and this was on another podcast, I actually heard the conversation, and the other person said to her, no, you do need someone. You need that person that you want because that's the person that you want. You need them because of the need that you have, that they can meet that need. They can meet that want for you.
Yeah, and
There
that
might be a moment in that, that
I
there's
get
that
that part.
need, right?
Yeah, I get
And
that part.
but I used to not see it that way. I used to totally see it in the spirit of traditions here, because it's what I want to highlight here, of what it looks like to then to now, right? Back then it was always such a need. There was a lot of conversation around the need. And when we're speaking about partners, definitely about us needing men, women needing men. We need him to pay the bills and we need him to do this. And today we have more and more women coming out of that comfort zone, right? Or breaking those traditions, breaking those stigmas. And what's so taboo to say, well, she's a woman with a career, she's a woman with a business, or she has her entrepreneurship, right? Or multiple businesses at that, right? And we are breaking away from that, but we should still be able to have that conversation, the non-traditional conversation of what that need and that want looks like. And I could decide and say, I want this person to be in my space, I want this person to be in my life, right? To do what? I don't need you to be here, but because I want you, now I need you for all of this. Because I want you,
Yeah.
this is what I need you for.
I can see that sense.
Yeah.
But when someone's telling in the past has told me, you don't need me. You literally figure everything out by yourself. You've always done this, you've always done that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't even need my mom sometimes, but I want her around.
Right.
But when I feel sick, who do I call? I'm like, Mommy, I want that tea you used to make.
Yeah.
I need her to make the fucking tea.
Right.
Because
Right.
that's a need. You know what I mean? I get that. So there's obviously it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
But like to 100% say that you need someone, I
To
don't
live, no.
feel like, no,
Yeah.
I don't feel like
So
that.
I was born alone. We were all born alone.
We gonna
Unless you're
die
a twin,
alone
then
too.
you came out, from, but that's
Then
not
you might
everybody.
need your twin, but
Right. I mean,
but
I don't know
like
how
in my
much.
situation, no, but they have a different connection.
They do, for
Um,
sure.
but like in that situation, I don't know. To me, I've just been raised in a different sense where it's like my mother always said, "Well, no, if it didn't work out with that one, there's a lot of other men in this world."
I love your mom.
And I used to be like, Mom, but oh my God, but I love him. And she's like, okay, but at the same time, well, there's so many more. Are you sure? Are you sure you
Not,
really
are you
loved him?
sure?
And I'm like, no, she would be like, are you sure you really loved him? And I'm like, I think. No?
Tú estás
I don't know
segura?
now. I'm like,
Tú
no, I
estás
don't know.
segura?
Fuck.
It's funny you brought this to light, because that was actually part of what this conversation was going to be, as a one woman show, literally on a podcast, but also with all your businesses. What does that look like when you are building and leading a team? But also, I noted it as building and leading a team and clients. And why do I say that, right? Because your unit at home is also a team that you have. So when you
Yeah.
are that one woman show, right? How does that look like for you with your balancing act? How is the Josie of today keeping up with all of that?
Oh my God. But like for me, allotting
Mm.
time blocking, it's called on your calendar, and figuring out what days are best for this, what days are best for this. So like I know I record podcasts usually on Friday nights. My son's not home.
Okay.
So if I'm not out, which I don't go out much, I'll batch record 3, 4 episodes, and that'll give me 4 weeks of content. I mean, 4 weeks of episodes, and then I'll do it again in another week, and like that. So I've mastered that in the last few Fridays. I've been able to do that. So that's new for me. The coaching,
Yes.
I organize myself because of my calendar. Like I just know what days I can coach, and I leave those days available.
Right.
And the other days I block out for if I have events or if I'm attending something or if I'm just even right now being on the podcast with you. I blocked today out because I'm like, we're doing this
right.
today. You know, nothing is coming up because somebody's like, oh, can you do this tonight? I was like, no, I cannot.
Yeah.
I rescheduled this 3 times. I am doing this podcast today. I don't give a shit. So, you know, I even told my son, I'm recording tonight. He's like, you were on Zoom yesterday. I was like, I don't care. Go to your room.
Right.
And let me record. But I've been able to manage the time. So now, like, I get his basketball schedule and I'll be able to put that into my calendar way in advance so that I know, okay, no, he has this game practice, blah, blah. It's already on my calendar. So then I know to block that out. And then I put whatever else I need around it. Because now, but in the past, it was work. And then maybe I'll add some of my children's stuff. Now it's the other way around. Now I'm like, oh no, he got a game. Sorry, I can't go.
Yes.
Oh no, he got practice. I got to pick him up. But I wasn't able to do that before.
Yes, that's exactly
so for me, I had to, I had to change that.
Yeah. I love that you said that.
I talk about that in the last episode that I aired too, because I feel like you have to learn to balance. It doesn't matter if you have kids. It doesn't matter if, launch that business. Don't worry about the kids. You'll figure it out. But, and also, like, do people really plan pregnancies? 90% of the time they try to, but 90% of the time you get pregnant without trying.
Yeah.
So what happens? You have to accommodate your life now to this new child.
Yeah.
You can't just, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You have a whole new life to live now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And ambition will tell you that whatever which way that looks like, you can do it all. You can.
Yeah.
You can. Maybe not forever by yourself, but you can do it all. You absolutely can.
It's too much when we try to be super women. Yeah. And it's the truth. We're not robots. Yeah. And I used to want to just do everything by myself because I'm like, I got it. Right. Until I was like, you know what? Getting help is actually really nice. Yes. It actually feels good to ask for help. Yeah. I couldn't before. I was like, no, oh my God, I can figure this out. But now I'm like, hey, I need help. Like, I'm burnt the fuck out. I need XYZ who can come. And I have a circle. I have a community now, like my little powwow circle where I'm like, guys, girls, who's available? Yeah. I need a hand. Yeah. So it's different now. That is amazing. I see life very different now.
That is amazing because you did say in our first segment, you did say one of the regrets you had was not asking for help. And so who you are today. Oh my God. That is the part of you that you are standing still truthful in your power and your pivot, right? Of who Josie is today after that roller coaster, and it's fucking amazing to me. That's right. That's right. Now you got a whole bunch of people sitting with you on the roller coaster, but that's okay. We going out.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
We're going.
Y'all ready for this shit?
We're going. I have one last word before we go into the last segment. One last question, not word. Okay. If you could reflect for one quick second, right? Just for one quick second. Can you say overall you feel successful and happy?
Yes.
Amazing.
I can.
That is beautiful.
Because years ago, I would have never thought that I could have accomplished what I have so far.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Considering the ups and downs in this journey.
Right. But I love it. But this is part of that journey. This is part of that journey because success and happiness looks so different for everybody. And I am wholeheartedly, I am a believer that it's really a feeling.
It is. Don't get me wrong. I don't feel happy every day.
Right. Same.
But we're entitled to have our feelings. And that's why I called it a roller coaster, because I am not happy every day. I don't feel successful every day. But if I really sat down and said, oh my God, I've done all of that, then yes, I'm good.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go to the last segment, and this one is called an overdose. And here in this segment, we share something, absolutely anything we are overjoyed with or completely over it. And it could be anything off the top of your mind. Doesn't have to be about this episode at all. So anything you want to share?
Completely overjoyed with or completely over
it? Yes.
Damn.
Everybody says that, like, damn.
Over. I am over the idea of having to keep up with social media lifestyle.
Sweet Jesus. Talk about it.
Like, I'm literally fucking over it.
Yeah.
Because if I literally catch myself now on Instagram just to like laugh at shit because I can't keep up, dude. Like I feel like every fucking day, in order to be successful, in order to be successful, in order to be fucking making it, you have to showcase the most beautiful lifestyle, all this money and luxury and fucking traveling out the ass and like for people to really think that you've made it.
Yes.
And it's like, no.
No.
Or like the following, or like, oh my god, you don't even have a lot of followers. No. My events page has a lot of followers.
Yeah.
For me, 15,000, whatever. I don't have 15,000 clients.
Right.
So I don't know who the fuck those people are. I appreciate the ones that I do know, but theoretically and literally, I don't give a fuck anymore about the whole I don't have following because whatever. Like this whole like hype about social media and being present and the amount of filters and people not looking like fucking human anymore. Like, bro, can we just look normal? Like, no one looks like this.
Right.
And let's be honest, half of the fucking people we follow that are like living their best life are fucking depressed and miserable. They're fucking miserable. But they only showcase the things that are going to make their life look like they're up here because that's what has been considered the norm now.
Right.
So if you're not fucking popping, if you don't got the fucking suit, the outfit, the brand, I don't wear shit name brand. A mí no me importa. I shop on fucking Amazon.
Listen.
No me fucking importa. And I look good as fuck. If y'all haven't noticed on my outfits.
She does.
I'm fire. Thank you. For a very good price.
Not for a very good price.
No, I mean, like, not me. I mean, like, my outfits are very good.
The way that came out.
I mean, I'm expensive, okay?
She's expensive.
Especially when my hair is straight, I could do
That's
this.
right. Don't get it twisted.
I'm expensive as fuck, and I'm actually not even for sale right now.
Oh my god, I love it.
No, I really am over the overly saturated lifestyle that you see on Instagram because I feel like that is my platform for work. That is where I get a lot of my clients. So I do stay on it. I feel like it is a need for me right now. But I just feel like, damn, I just want to be myself. And if you can't resonate with me, then obviously we shouldn't work together because that's the truth. Like if you don't see a real human going through real human shit, because that's what I want to associate myself with.
Yeah.
I'm over that. And I'm also just over really quick people that like, this is the next week's podcast for me, but like, it's gonna be fucked up. But like when you like literally have friends that just like disappear out of your life, I am a very fucking caring person, and I hold my friends very near and dear to my heart. No, this is my fucking episode next week is gonna probably hurt a lot of feelings, but I just feel like I'm over this situation where people feel entitled, like if the whole world revolves around them, and you have given them everything for so long. You've bent over backwards. You've done this, that. You've been available at all fucking times. And the one time you're not, you're the fucking bad person. I'm over it. I'm over it because for so long I lived that life of, oh my God, what did I do? Let's fix this. Let's this. No. I am exhausted in trying to be there for everybody because I can't. Because I don't have people there for me at all fucking times.
Right.
So when you want that back, that, reciprocation or whatever the fuck the word is, like, give me the same energy.
Right.
Because I'm not going to keep doing this. I'm 39. I'm not getting any younger.
Right.
If you're not supposed to be in my life anymore, then at this point, like, let's just, like, call it quits.
Right.
Let's not even have that conversation. Let's just say, you know what? I'm done. And I feel much better about that. I like closure 90% of the time. But if we're dragging shit, let's just call it quits.
Right.
Like, I'm not doing this.
Right.
Because I feel like I know I'm a good person and I know the shit that I've done for people around me and what I've offered and what I've brought to the fucking table. I've brought the goddamn table. So don't fucking tell me nothing.
Heard you.
When you tell me, oh, the one time I wasn't available became a disaster, whatever. That's a you problem.
That's a you problem. Okay, so
It
I
is.
want to add to your over it, and I wasn't. There was something else that was on my mind to share, but because you
Sure.
are voicing this, I think I want to focus on it, right? And so I want to share the space right now. Because I used to be the person who used to give a fuck, right? And I'm
Mm.
someone who prides herself in just not giving a shit, right? I'm who I am, right? But when I say I don't give a fuck, when I say I don't care what people think about me, I really don't, right? When you have 20 plus years of friendship with someone, when you have those type of connections, right? You do care in a sense, like what happened,
Mm-hmm.
like did something go wrong and whatnot, right? I used to be that person years ago, and then I started this platform. And I started realizing that the purpose of me starting this platform was because I did not like to be silenced in my career and history. Not right now, thank God for that. I experienced in the past being silenced for things. I've experienced that with different people in different types of relationships, family, friendships, what have you, right? And I created this platform to be able to give myself a voice where no one can tell me what I can and cannot say, and give others that powerful voice with that microphone to be able to say whatever the fuck they want to say, right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to highlight something that I'm over, and I am over, completely over, and I'm making the executive decision to do this because I haven't spoken on this at all. I go on my IG stories and I give like little messages of life lessons and things
Right.
like that. You've seen them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in a recent weeks, there was an approach by a specific person. I shouldn't say specific person. There was an approach by a certain person who I thought everything was calm, cool, and collective with. Not someone who I've known for 20 plus years for sure. Not knowing them at all for years, right? You just met me. We're getting to know each other, right? Kind of like, just
Right.
interacting on social media. And we have met. And for some reason of whether it's issues that they've dealt with in their past with themselves or what have you, I really to this day don't know. There was no real admittance on that part. But I was approached on one of my IG stories and I was told, I kind of thought that was about me. And I kind of said, this sounds like it's an assumption.
I bet you think this song is about you.
Listen, I know I love that song. I I could fix these vocals right now. I could
Hold on. I got this.
But I was approached like that. And one of the things that I am completely over is that we are in a time today where we should work wholeheartedly on being very self-aware and emotionally intelligent with ourselves. I want to
Hmm.
believe that that person approached me on something that may have been something within themselves, right? Because I know
Yeah.
wholeheartedly that IG story was not about
You
them.
weren't talking
Was
about them.
not about them at all. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate that they thought that. And when I tried to interact with them in that moment of having this discussion, there were other things that were said by that person that everything just seemed a little fishy to me, and I no longer feel comfortable interacting with that person. It just feels uncomfortable for me at this point because other people were mentioned, not by name, but just others and things like that.
Yeah.
And that at
In
that point just
general.
becomes a little too gossipy for me, right? But what I do want to encourage here, because I'm completely over this, is people projecting whatever issues they may have, right? Whatever thoughts they may have, right? Whatever unfinished business they may have with themselves that they're working on. It's one thing to work on it, and it's one thing to admit that you may need to still work on it. It's another for you to project it onto people. We are in 2023. Okay. We are
And
having,
we're not kids.
we're having discussions here. We're having discussions
Yeah.
here about things we used to not discuss at all. Mental health, self awareness, emotional
Mm-hmm.
intelligence, things like that, right? And I just encourage people to really tap into themselves before ever approaching anyone on the basis of an assumption, because you don't know essentially how you might be hurting the other person, because you're so stuck in what you believe in. Um, it's disappointing. I'm over that. I'm over feeling the disappointment when you think someone is a certain way, right? Whether it's someone I've known for 20 plus years or 3 months or four
Yeah.
months, it's disappointing either way. And it's our responsibility as individuals to tap into ourselves, work through our own shit, not project onto others. My mom used to say, no seas impulsiva, don't be so impulsive to rush into this. Right. And it's not about having those side conversations with other people, because that's just also based on assumption too, without even really knowing a person. There's a way to approach a conversation. And that's part of the self-awareness and the emotional intelligence.
Have you seen the graph that it's like a circle and it said someone's problem, you and what you know about their problem, and it's like this big, and it tells you just be kind, because you really don't know what someone is going through. And at the end of the day, like, I would always try to offer like a hand and help and stuff like that, and then I realize sometimes people don't really want your help, but they want to be heard. So I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't listen to hear, or I wouldn't hear to listen. I would just let them talk for a while, and I would like give my input, right. But now I'm like, are you venting? Do you want me to say something? Do you want an opinion, or you just want me to hear you? Like, listen and not speak. Because now I want to know before I start giving my input, because I would cause an argument, because they're like, I didn't ask for your advice, or I didn't want you to say anything, or why do you always have to? And I'm like, holy shit. Right. So I'm like, you know what? Now I ask, right. Hey, are you telling me this because you want me to give you advice or an opinion? Because I don't know what that person's feeling, and I'm not gonna know based on what they're telling me. They're just telling me something, and that whole thing of like assuming, is just, don't do it.
Don't. I'm sorry.
And then you can also just be like, well, if the shoe fits, fucking wear it at this point.
You know,
it's like,
I could have said that. I could have. Yeah. But because of who the person was, I didn't want to. I actually wanted.
No. I agree with you not. But I'm saying sometimes it's like, bro, just, if that's how you feel, sure.
But this is where I'm over it, right? Because many of us could easily say, well, if the shoe fits, I mean, that's on you and that's it. Right. I still took the time to interact in that moment, but it just felt so uncomfortable. It felt uncomfortable that after everything we discussed in today and age, after what we know in life, right? When sometimes just dealing with things on your own is not the way. Maybe you do need some coaching. Maybe you do need some mentorship. Maybe you do need some therapy. I go to a therapist, and I have two coaches, my personal trainer and still my food and health coach, who I could turn to. And still I'm exploring to see if I could go ahead and get someone else to coach me just through life, right? I'm still trying to plan for that. Like, it takes work. And this is why I put the responsibility on the self-awareness and the emotional intelligence, because in that moment, in that interaction, I really tapped into myself here. And what I felt was, in that moment, the conversation was one-sided, and it was only one way. There was no way that person was at all seeing where I stood with the perception now. There was no way that person was seeing how I was feeling. And so I'm completely over that. I'm just over people projecting onto others whatever it is that they may be dealing with. That communication is a two-way street. It really is. And we have to take into account what that looks like, and not lead just with a narrow mind. We cannot do that.
So many people don't get that.
Right.
I mean, we started this segment with communication being about relationships, and that goes in every type of relationship. It could be work, house, husband,
professionalism,
boyfriend, sister,
everything,
Instagram,
everything.
It's a fucking communication thing. Like, if you can't have a conversation with me, then like I can't do this. Because like, I'm not a child either. And I've paved my way. I've gotten the work. So you can't sit here and project your fucking anger on me all the time. Right. Or because my life is going a different way, and I fucking always do what I'm gonna do, and always do what I always say, do what I said I'm gonna do, whatever. Don't be mad at me if you're not if you're stuck where you were last year and I'm not. Because that's another thing. Like, people are mad. When you're doing better, they're mad because you are progressing, and it's like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? We're not supposed to be the same person we were yesterday.
Absolutely. I hear that. And just for the record, because we're going to go into the ending of the show, if I have not made myself clear in the last 2 years, 11 months, 3 weeks, because 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because we're about to hit the third birthday on March 17th, y'all. Let me make it very clear one more time. I've created myself a show and a platform, my social media. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say, and I talk my shit however which way I want. If there is anything I ever need to say to someone, I'm going to say. And if I don't tell you anything, it's because I have nothing else to say to you. And it's not a space for anyone to assume anything. You get what I mean? Like,
No.
People are tired of being silenced. And when you come for someone's messaging and make it about yourself, it feels like you're trying to silence someone, and that's not okay. So let me just make it very clear. This is why I created this show.
That's why I said I need to go on a podcast. I have so much to say, and I feel like I couldn't say it to people without offending people. So now I'm saying it, and those that listen and get offended, I'm sorry.
But this is what it is.
I have to say things. I have so much to say.
This is what it is. I hear you. I hear you 100%. We have come to the ending of this episode.
Oh my God.
This was so good.
This was a good episode.
I am so happy you came on. And I always say this, like, my guests always come back. And if this is the case and one of my like former guest listeners, just let me know that I haven't brought you back, because I love to sustain my friendships, my network, my circles, my socials. I like to sustain them from here when there's a connection made. I am very grateful that you've agreed to come on this episode and to highlight these conversations and to give us some details here, like story here.
Of my roller coaster?
Yeah, about the roller coaster. This is like probably one of my favorite stories ever. I want you to please tell my listeners where they can follow you, support, check out your businesses, and your leadership and your coaching, and of course the podcasting.
So pretty much everything can be found on Instagram at it's Yosi Maldonado, which I think you'll spell out for them.
Yes, I will.
And so literally in my link tree there has everything. Yeah. My website, my podcast link to the Fierce Femmeprenuer, which is also on Spotify, on Apple, Amazon Music, it's everywhere. And yeah, the coaching program, I can either do group or I do one-on-one, so whatever's needed. So pretty much that page says everything. I do have my events page, which is at F&M Events, but also that's linked to the other page as well. Yeah. So pretty much everywhere.
Absolutely. And as always, guys, it's going to be in the show notes, all the links that are necessary to the social media platforms and her website. And as always, guys, this has been another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast. I'm your host, Misty, and you guys will tune in next week. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And we are live on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Make sure to tell a friend to subscribe, rate, and review. Talk to you later. Bye.